Parents coming to terms with the Precious Talent School tragedy as burial preparations on course.
Power! MBC! Power!
Nairobi Business Community Group declares support for ODM's candidate Imran Okoth in the upcoming Kibra by-election. Trump stares impeachment on the fence and doesn't like what he sees. In sports, all set for the World Athletics Championships in Doha for Team Kenya. Well, it's a brilliant Thursday. Hello and welcome to Breaking Today. My name is Nick Mudimba. Our sign language interpreter is Evelyn Wangui. Let's now look at the headlines we have for you tonight. Parents coming to terms with the Precious Talent School tragedy as burial preparations on course.
Power! MBC! Power!
Nairobi Business Community Group declares support for ODM's candidate Imran Okoth in the upcoming Kibra by-election. Trump stares impeachment on the fence and doesn't like what he sees. In sports, all set for the World Athletics Championships in Doha for Team Kenya. All right, bereaved parents of Monday's tragedy at Precious Talent School, whose classroom buildings collapsed, killing 8 pupils on the spot and injuring several others, are still coming to terms with the painful reality even as they go on with the burial preparations. We caught up with some of the affected parents as the bodies of the loved ones were being actually ferried from City to Chiromo Mortuary in readiness for burial. Sadilimo with the report.
On the 23rd day of September 2019, tragedy struck Dagoretti North constituency when the walls of the upper primary of Precious Talent School caved in, killing 8 students, among them Class 8 students, preparing for their KCPE exams and injuring 57 others. Residents, the rescue team, people of goodwill, and even politicians were all at the site, including former area MP Dennis Waweru, who has since promised to work with the families of the deceased.
Wale ambao wameumia na wako hospitali, mimi nitahakikisha nitaenda huko hospitali ndio tuweze kugharamia na kuona vile tutalipa hizo bills za hospitali. Sawa.
We caught up with Reverend David Njeru at the City Mortuary, father to one of the top-performing girls at Precious Talent School, Jermaine City, who lost her life in the unfortunate incident. According to him, none of the politicians or government officials has given them any official communication or assistance in regards to planning of the burial or footing the morgue bills as they had promised during the fateful day.
But we really appreciate for what has happened from Mama County, and we have also had a lot of other talks out there, but it has not come to us officially because we as the parents who are bereaved, I believe that we should not be talking to just relying on any other information, and because they have our contacts and they should be talking to us. And if really the politicians are really supportive, we only 8 parents, why could they not have even have come to our places, our home, like what we have seen with the Esther Passaris here?
A lot of questions have since been raised in the public domain as to how such a weak building put up using substandard materials sifted through the eyes of relevant authorities and qualified to be a school. The blame has also especially been placed on the county government that issues building permits. A requiem mass for the deceased pupils is set to be held tomorrow at Telcom grounds in Nairobi County.
Tunataka kutransfer bodies from here to Chiromo, ambayo tumekuja kuclear bill through county government ya Nairobi. Sio mtu yote analipa, ni county government ina waive bill yote ya hawa watoto.
According to various Kenyans we spoke to, the government needs to be more responsible and take care of the bereaved families.
I thought that the government should have taken this very personal, because I believe it is the responsibility of the government of the day to protect its citizens. What Njeru is saying is as at this moment, not even one of the government officials has thought of even visiting the families to even know where these kids were coming from. Nobody knows. We've not had any, not one. We're only hearing these things on telly. We're hearing these things on people, politicians taking advantage of this, to score some political mileages.
As families prepare to lay to rest these young lives that were in pursuit of education for a brighter future, the regrettable death of the 7 girls and 1 boy has left many Kenyans with more questions than answers as they call for arrest and prosecutions of the responsible parties as soon as possible. Sally Limo, Switch TV.
Wish the parents strength during this hard time. Now, Kenya is on the track actually in terms of development towards sustainable development, according to President Uhuru Kenyatta. Speaking at the UN General Assembly conference in USA, Uhuru pointed out that the country is making remarkable strides on the road to realizing sustainable development goals in 2030.
Bold actions.
Speaking at the ongoing United Nations General Assembly in the New York City, USA, where world leaders are deliberating on how fast Vision 2030's Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) can be achieved, President Uhuru Kenyatta urged the private sector and development partners to support him as Kenya joins the world race in realizing the 17 SDGs.
Our actions today will determine whether that future will be bleak, depleted of resources, with higher poverty levels and fragmented, warring nations.
Kenyatta added that Kenya has already realized some of the goals, such as quality education, following the introduction of the free primary education program.
First, we must put people at the core of development. We must support our populations, particularly the youth, to be productively engaged, to shape the future, and not to fall victim to it.
With regards to poverty reduction, the president said that Kenya's economic growth has been tremendous for the past 8 years, raising the country's GDP to 5.9%.
We must accelerate the implementation of the SDGs. Critical to this is the generation of big, disaggregated data to help us plan targeted interventions and to monitor implementations.
While congratulating world leaders on the international pilot plan with regards to science, technology and innovation as well as sustainable development that Kenya benefited from, Kenyatta advised global leaders to prioritize on skill acquisition, strengthen training, technology and innovation as they try to achieve the sustainable development goals. Safi Godana Mamo, Switch TV.
All right, now the infamous Nairobi Business Community Group has declared its support for ODM candidate Imran Okoth in the upcoming Kibra constituency by-election. The group said they made the decision to rally behind Imran following his proven track record while his late brother Ken Okoth was receiving treatment abroad. At the same time, Deputy President William Ruto hosted a Kibra delegation at his current residence where he jumped up support for Jubilee candidate McDonald Mariga.
The race to succeed the late Ken Okoth in Kibra constituency is gaining momentum and surprises day by day, the latest being the endorsement of ODM's candidate Imran Okoth by the now infamous Nairobi Business Community. The group was a fiery critic of ODM in the run-up to the 2017 general election, but has now changed tune.
Power! MBC! Power!
According to the group chairman Wilfred Kamau, the ODM candidate did a good job while his late brother Ken Okoth was receiving treatment abroad.
After consultation further, we in the Nairobi Business Community have decided to support Imran Okoth for the Kibra by-election. We have decided to do so because of his record in handling the Kibra affairs, especially when Honorable Ken Okoth was in and out of hospital before his demise. We promise to support and urge our people residing in Kibra to support him.
The decision by Nairobi Business Community to support Imran Okoth comes barely a week after President Uhuru's Kenyatta ally, nominated MP Maina Kamanda, also threw his weight behind the ODM candidate. And in Karen, Deputy President William Ruto hosted a delegation from Kibra at his current residence where he drummed up support for McDonald Mariga.
Tunataka mutupatie jamaa ambaye hana hangover. Ya kusema yeye ni mdosi sijui nini, mtu ambaye anaelewa shida ya watu wa Kibra.
na malengo yetu, sio? Wafike malengo sio? Kwa hivyo mambo ya ball, sports in general tutaitengeza, sio?
Others in the race are ANC's Eliud Owalo and engineer Hamisi Butichi of Ford Kenya. The mini poll is set for November 7th. Kevin Sewe, Switch TV.
All right, moving on. Police Reforms Working Group, a human rights umbrella, on Thursday raised concerns over the perceived internal wrangles at the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, also known as IPOA, warning that it could lead to more unchecked police brutality in the country. Giverson Maina with the report.
The human rights body Police Reforms Working Group, which is engraved in matters police reforms in the country, has raised alarm over the recent conflicts at IPOA that allegedly led to an impasse at its board and dismissal of its chief executive officer, saying it was unjustified. The continued internal conflicts believed to have arisen from personal interest could result to poor delivery of services to the public.
We do believe that the process that led to the appointment of the current board and the subsequent assumption of full-time status may be the genesis of the current situation within IPOA.
The human rights body believes that the current IPOA board was constituted without due process and is urging the Parliamentary Committee on Administration and National Security to investigate the entire recruitment and appointment process of the current board.
We remain supportive of the IPOA team as we recognize the critical role it plays in driving the police reform transformational agenda. We call on all Kenyans to resist any attempts to erode the hard-fought independence by IPOA for the safety and security of all.
The body brings together over 25 local, national and international human rights organizations and social justice centers that seek to advocate for reforms within the National Police Service. This includes Kenya Human Rights Commission, National Coalition for Human Rights Defenders, Federation of Women Lawyers Kenya, Amnesty International, and International Commission for Juries ICJ, among others. The human rights umbrella body involved in matters police reforms are now urging the government to ensure smooth running of IPOA operations in order to guarantee the police brutality victims continuous access to justice. Giverson Maina, Switch TV.
Well, as the conversation on the state of global climate and climate change continues to gather momentum, the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, on Thursday launched a 5-year strategic plan that seeks to enhance environmental conservation, ecological integrity and climate change in the country. Christine Muruki with more.
Climate change in Kenya and across East Africa has led to frequent drought cases, extinction of wild animals and rainfall uncertainties. While launching their 2019-2024 strategic plan, NEMA stated that it will integrate climate change response strategies that will ensure plans are made to minimize environmental degradation.
So as a country, we have enacted one of the best robust climate change act that is available to us. So as authority, ours is to ensure that we implement the provisions of the Climate Change Act by ensuring that the greenhouse gases are within the limits.
MAMO has also said that the country is working with the relevant authorities to ensure that they are included in the Global Climate Change Fund, an ongoing platform that has been responding to climate change by reducing greenhouse gas emissions in developing countries and helping different societies adapt to the unavoidable effects of climate change.
You know, NEMA is implementing entity for the Global Climate Fund, and as such, we can access funds so that communities can do the same for adaptation programs.
NEMA also plans to control air pollution by closing down and arresting owners of organizations releasing effluents carelessly into the environment.
We've given out number on the same, and we are going to name and shame the environmental polluters, especially those one discharging effluent into our environment.
The NEMA strategic plan is also aligned to the Vision 2030, with one of its main aims being enhancing sustainable utilization of the environment. Christine Morioki, Switch TV.
All right, we're now taking a short break right here on Breaking Today. When we come back, I'll be telling you more about Taita Taveta County. The nurses have actually down their tools and paid salaries. Also in the US, Trump is in trouble. He's facing impeachment. All that coming to you after a short break. Keep it to Switch TV. Welcome back to Breaking Today. Now, the government has suspended all benchmarking tours abroad and directed that foreign travels be reduced in new expenditure control measures announced by the acting National Treasury CAS, Ambassador Ukur Yatani, in a circular sent to newsrooms. The CAS also launched the Labour Ministry's 5-year strategic plan blueprint.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Protection on Thursday ushered in its strategic plan that will set the ministry agenda for the next 5 years. Speaking during the launch, Labour Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Ukur Yatani said the ministry cannot address all the issues affecting the labour and social protection sector in the country by its own. To this end, in a circular sent to newsrooms, Yatani moved to cut on government expenditure by, among others, directing that delegations led by cabinet secretaries will going forward not exceed 4 persons and that all domestic air travels should be economy class.
I want to really advise our people in carrying out this implementation of this roadmap. We have to review our institutions fit for the purpose. Are there areas that we can do differently? Our policy is fully aligned. Are the projects and programs and the partnership that we built over time, are there certain leakages that have not been working well? Are there certain bottlenecks in the process? Why then underperformance of the last year's, of the previous year's strategic plan? Is there lack of commitment on the part of the staff? Are we committed? Are we loyal?
Yatani also encouraged ministries to use technology in transacting government business and other communication platforms minimized on foreign travel, adding that the ministry requires adequate resources to achieve its goals.
This ministry has been given the mandate of dealing with the most vulnerable segment of the population. And more than financial or material support, they required your understanding. You reach out to a disabled person who's traumatized by virtue of the situation. How do you interact with him?
Labour Principal Secretary Peter Tum, who was also in attendance, said the strategic plan will provide an implementation matrix with some of the 6 key results areas identified in strategic plan being best labour practices, manpower, planning, development, employment and productivity promotion.
I would wish just to give an overview of labour and probably the little achievements that we've been able to achieve over the period of time that we were working with the old strategic plan. The State Department of Labour has the mandate, of course, as you all know, for the promotion of harmonious industrial relations, safety and health in workplaces, employment promotion, industrial training, and productivity management.
According to Yatani, further the relevant flagship projects in the third medium-term plan include implementation of the labour market information system, strengthening linkages between industries and training institutions, development and implementation of the national as well as internship program, among others. Kate Silale for Switch TV.
Across the borders, U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday called the grounds for his impeachment laid out by Democrats a joke after he was accused of pressuring his Ukrainian counterpart for domestic political reasons. President Donald Trump pressed the leader of Ukraine to look into Joe Biden and his son's potential 2020 re-election rival, as well as the president's lingering grievances from the 2016 election. According to a rough transcript of a summer phone call that is now the center of the Democrats' impeachment probe, the call is one part of a whistleblower complaint about the president's activities that have roiled Washington and led Democrats to move ahead with an impeachment inquiry of the Republican president on the cusp of the 2020 campaign.
But I didn't do it. I didn't threaten anybody. In fact, the press was asking questions of the president of Ukraine, and he said no pressure. I used the word pressure. I think he used the word push, but he meant pressure, but it's the same thing. No push, no pressure, no nothing. It's all a hoax, folks. It's all a big hoax.
Let's now look at how the financial markets fared on today. Team Kenya are hot favourites to top the medal table at the 2019 Athletics World Championships in Doha, Qatar. This after going through strenuous trials that saw Kenya choose 49 athletes to the Worlds. Now, Team Kenya, however, was hit hard on her quest to retain the World 1,500 meters title after reigning champion Elijah Manangoi was ruled out of the championships due to injury. Our sports reporter Chris Migwambo takes in an in-depth analysis of Team Kenya in Doha with less than 48 hours to go. The kickoff actually to the 2019 event and the World Championships. Take a look.
Qatar will come alive as from 4:30 p.m. afternoon with the men's long jump qualification kick-starting the 17th edition of the IAAF World Athletics Championship in Doha at the renovated multi-purpose Khalifa International Stadium. The first Kenyan on track will be Eunice Jepkoech Sum in the women's 800 meters heats at 5:19 p.m. East African time. Next on track will be the women's 3,000 meter steeplechase heats at 6:55 p.m. Fancy Cherono, Hyvin Kieng and Selefin Chespol will be in contest with world record holder Beatrice Chepkoech, who has waited for 2 years for her chance to make amends for missing out at the IAAF World Record Championship in London in 2017, having a chance to win a world title as she takes on the water and barrier event. Earlier this week, IAAF declined Kenya's request to field 5,000 meters athletes Michael Kibet and Daniel Simiu at the World Championships. Kenya will now be represented at 7:45 p.m. in the heats by Nicholas Kimeli and Jacob Krop, who finished 3rd and 4th in the national trials respectively. Meanwhile, Kenya hasn't won the men's 5,000 meters since 2005, but Nicholas Kimeli will be hoping to end that drought and is expected to the finals on Friday. Those running the marathon at the IAAF Athletics World Championship will be in uncharted territory.
Look, you know, of course I want as many people to finish in good shape as possible. Our medical teams are going to be very alert to that. And yeah, you know, heat is actually, if I'm being tough here, heat.
It's because of that reason that women marathoners on day 1 and the men on day 9 will start their final races at midnight, by which point the temperature will have dropped nearer to 30 degrees Celsius. Team Kenya will hit the ground running in the chase for first gold medal with Edna Kiplagat.
With arguably the hardest race of her career. All credit
of
Kenya, who raises her hand and crosses the line.
In her last outing at the London World Athletics Championship in 2017, Kenya finished second behind USA with 5 gold medals, 2 silver and 4 bronze. The first and the second bunch of Kenyan athletes departed the country on Tuesday and Wednesday morning, beaming with confidence of increasing their gold mine ahead of the World Showpiece. Chris Migwambo, Switch TV.
The Kenya Under-20 national team beat Ethiopia 4-0 in the final Group B match of the ongoing CECAFA Under-20 Championships played on Thursday at the FUFA Technical Center in Uganda. The Rising Stars had already sealed qualification following their opening 5-0 win over Zanzibar, coupled with a 2-2 draw against Tanzania, and all they needed was cap it off in style to ensure a top spot finish. The team will wait to know if they head to the quarterfinals as group winners, this pending the result of the final Group B match pitting Tanzania against Zanzibar. The quarters have been scheduled for Sunday, September 2019. Now, England hit the World Cup straps with a 7-try demolition of USA to make it 2 bonus points wins from 2. Billy Vupinola and Luke Cowan-Dickey scored first half tries from diving moles after skipper George Ford went under the posts after 6 minutes. 4 more in the second half, 2 from Joe Kogasina. Now, 1 apiece from latecomers Ruda Monkronchi and Lewis Ludlam were a fitting reward for much improved performance in the heat and humidity of Kobe.
Driving for the line, it's England. 5 out. The red jerseys swarm. The Roses are over again. It's try number 3. And the Red Sea. It parts. And England are in again.
That's all I had for you right here in Breaking Today. My name is Nick Mudimba. Our sign language interpreter has been Evelyn Ongui. Have yourself a lovely night. I'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on Switch TV. Good night.